So hello everyone, I'm Candice Pinto. I was here yesterday. Welcome to the Fashion Design Council of Rajasthan. How is everyone doing? Some very familiar faces out here. So it's day 2 and I'm quite excited. So now after Wendell, we have an amazing person, a great personality, Mr. Salim Asgarally. He has recently completed 25 years in fashion. Is the name to reckon with. Not only has he dressed up Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and Bipasha Basu, Simi Garewal, he is also into home furnishing, and it can be seen in the homes of Madonna and Brad Pitt and many, many more. What more? The couture gives back to fashion by mentoring young designers, craftsmen, and artisans, both under the umbrella of his organization as well as his workshops. So let me introduce Mr. Salim Asgarally.
We are, in fact, in.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Same here. How are you today?
Very well, Candice. I got in the morning, off the aircraft, and was hit by like a blast of cold. I was like, woo, this seems like really wintry. It's going to be fun.
I know it was quite fun.
Yeah, really, I think I am on a holiday.
I think you need this. So tell me, how was Mangalore Fashion Week since you just got back today?
Oh, it was amazing. A very small place, of course, as we all know. I think of it as another Goa. It really looks like another Goa. Have you been to Mangalore?
Never. Considering
Okay.
I'm half Mangalorean, I've
Okay,
never
okay.
actually been to Bangalore. I heard it's
Yeah.
a beautiful place.
So this was the first time they had Fashion Week. So there was a lot of enthusiasm. The setup was great, lovely people. So we had a great show, so it was good.
So tell me, Salim, you've been venturing into so many different aspects from fashion designing and dressing up such amazing celebrities like Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Bipasha, Simi Garewal, many, many more. You've been into costume designing, home decor. When you're venturing into each aspect, how difficult is it to jump from one thought process to another and to another? Isn't it difficult because you have to keep switching on and off, or is it just at one go?
You know, Candice, it's like design is something that is very inherent in a person. So, and design is very all-encompassing. You cannot put design to one thing and not think of design for another. That's when you are a designer, honestly. So, you know, very often, there are a lot of you who want to be designers, I'm sure. And then there is that lot of you who is thinking, am I doing the right thing? Is this really for me? So you really have to figure out if that designer lives in you. Because this is a very obsessive kind of a profession. It's very obsessive, it's very addictive. You can't live without it. I took a break for about a year, like a sabbatical.
Really?
Yeah, because I had done like 24, 25 years in fashion.
Wow. Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to think, maybe I want to do something else. I mean, it's not that I was just born to do fashion. So I said, I'm going to take this time to kind of think that maybe I'll do farming. But believe me, 3 months down the line, I got fidgety. You know, back to the board, drawing things. It just comes. You can't sit idle. So it's like a housewife or a lady who looks after the home as a caretaker. She'll be cooking, she'll be washing, she'll be doing a whole lot of things. But she does it effortlessly. You see, it's seamless. So also, when you go from one thought to another in designing various different things, as you just mentioned, like we do accessories for the home, we do a bit of private label, we do garments, of course, clothes, bags, shoes sometimes. So there are lines that just come around. And design just flows from one to the other. So it is just not an effort.
That's brilliant. And before we proceed ahead, we would like to see this AV that I would love to see it too. Should we see the AV?
Absolutely. Can I say a few words about it?
Yes, absolutely.
So this AV is like a short film that I had done for the Kala Ghoda Arts Association. It was supposed to be done by complete rookies in the field like us, didn't know nothing about even a camera. So it's a non-scripted film, and it delves on what we're really going to be talking about today is fashion as an art form. It delves on creativity. Somewhere you may just find something that, you know, might catch your attention. Yeah.
Let's watch it.
we are in fact in the process of filming the short film that we are working on, and we're trying to be all natural.
कौन गायकवाड़? आप रॉन्ग नंबर लगाएं किसी को. रॉन्ग नंबर है. गायकवाड़ आप सामान भेजे मुनुन को बहुत सामान. Who are you calling?
Not calling.
Your boyfriend?
Full time you after my boyfriend. What is your problem? I'm after your girlfriend ever.
I don't give you a choice.
You don't. You have to start giving me choices from now on. So you don't talk about my boyfriend. I don't talk about your girlfriend. Okay, Salim Asgarally.
I won't talk, but you were supposed to show me the picture, no?
You're making us act too much. You know, for instance, I feel his camera should be on now. It's been a very soul-satisfying experience, and it just kind of connects the two worlds that I live in together. One being the world where my karigars are and all my workers are, and the kind of things that we produce, and the other is the world that beautiful women live in, which brings the whole thing together and makes it so real and puts it completely into perspective.
The whole concept of the dress is exactly what my work is about. It's about creating something beautiful. It's about creating something that exhilarates the soul. And it comes from somewhere from the depths of within. And it has its whole journey. And I think it's a fabulous idea to put this whole journey together to see from where this actually is conceived, where it goes, and finally how it transforms someone's life, be it the woman who's going to wear it, or the creator who has designed it, or the karigars who work behind it to create this fabulous piece.
आपको क्या लगता है जब आप ये बनाते हैं, आप क्या महसूस करते हैं?
एक तो काम भी खूबसूरत बनते हैं तो उसमें भी खुशी आते हैं, जब सामने से नाम मिलता है उसमें भी खुशी आती है.
Her story is about transformation, like everyone else's.
When you paint, do you see life coming through into your paintings? At some point of time, does it speak to you?
Yeah, because also to me some paintings are special and some paintings are not. And some paintings you just paint and they get painted and finished and you don't really feel for them.
Yeah.
But some paintings, like you said, I've painted them and I know that they're for a particular person, and that person comes by and says, oh, I want this painting. And they've just had that painting because, or I've given it to them. I don't even feel like I gave it to them. I just feel like that painting was there. So I can actually, as an artist or as a creator.
Nothing, I think, surpasses the joy of creation, the joy of creating something beautiful, be it a work of art as in a painting, or be it a dress that a designer creates.
Yes.
Which is exactly what I'm saying about the dress.
Yeah, so I can see where you're coming
You're
from,
getting
saying
the
okay, when
point
that
that I'm
dress
making.
was getting made and you felt like, okay, eventually you just feel this dress is for this person.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it's me because I have felt so many times like this.
I
about
believe
my own-
everything chooses somebody, and ultimately the dress also chooses the person who's going to wear it.
Yeah, so I guess we should all believe that in some way we are all entwined.
We are all entwined. It's all very spiritual.
I know it sounds very shallow when a lot of people say, oh, I'm a doctor, I deal with life and death, and what do? You just dress people up and you just deal with clothes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is true because anything that anybody does is his profession. It's what he chooses to do. And if we were to take off what people say are, shallow things like, okay, then only doctors, engineers, civil engineers would be required on earth. But I think it's people like us, artists, who add the special something that you need to make your life beautiful.
Yeah. So I get like
Oh
completely
my
fascinated
God.
with fabrics
You
and
really
textiles. So when I
imagine
go into a
something
fabric shop, and India has like a plethora of fabrics, beautiful fabrics. I mean, you also know.
Yeah.
So when I go into these fabric shops, I just end up buying because I love the fabric so much. It's not
God,
that
is
at
this
every
me?
point of time when I'm buying
Is this how you
something
see me?
that I know what it's going to turn out to be. But because it's so beautiful, you know
is
that
how
it's something
Angelina
beautiful is
Jolie
going to come out.
feels.
I am so happy today. It's finally when you realize what creation is all about, what this whole universe is all about. It's when the creator, his creation, and what he has made reaches its ultimate destination. So two Salims over here, both involved in different kinds of creativity, speaking the same language, doing different work. Purpose is the same. Let's make this world a better place. Let's make it a happier place. This is a mask, and it's something that transforms you, just like the dress does. It changes you from inside. God lives in creativity, and God lives in detail, and God lives in everything that is beautiful. It's the same energy. You give out the right energy comes back to you. That's what Gautam is saying. And it's again back to the same thing, the same language we are all speaking here. It's about making this world a better place, a happier place, transforming people's lives. And it gives us great joy to be in a space which is so timeless and so pure, and it's where the connection is. Our world, one world. Award-winning designs. A tribal woman sitting somewhere in a remote area of the country doesn't know where this is going. She just makes it for the pure joy of it. This piece has a journey. It's in the process. Now I present to you Priya Agni, my friend, the stylist, the artist in my art.
To all the girls I once caressed, and may I
The looking is gorgeous.
for helping me to do. I owe a lot, I know, to all the girls I have loved before. When some change.
Create if your horizons are narrow.
Yeah.
Can't create if your horizons are narrow, in case you missed it.
It's such a beautifully shot AV. I loved it.
It is, thank you. And a lot of credit goes to my friend Vintananda
Yeah.
for having edited it and put it together.
It just shows a different
But I
aspect
did the talking.
of things.
I did the
Yes.
talking, and it was non-scripted.
For a moment, I said you look like an actor at the same time.
Thank you so much. I can barely deal with one profession. Let's have another.
Tell me one thing. Is this challenge give you an adrenaline rush while pushing the boundaries of creativity?
Always. I think if that were not to happen, creation wouldn't go forward in any way. It is an adrenaline rush. It has to be.
I know, otherwise you won't kind of push it further down.
Yeah, because you want it all the while. You like in school as well, I used to be doodling all the while. All my books were filled with doodles. I know, most designers say that, but then it's a fact. It happens. So it's something you do all the while.
That's true. Tell me one thing, Salim. I always was very curious to ask you that. What is 3 essential things that a woman should have in a closet, like a must?
Like a must is...
A must, like for like everyday basis. If you want to just open your cupboard, the 3...
Good lingerie to begin with. Yeah, good lingerie. You need to feel good. Fashion is about feeling good.
I agree.
Yeah, so whatever touches your skin the most is what should be the best. So that's one thing. The other thing I think is, you said in her closet, not in a bag.
No, in a closet.
In her closet, okay. A great black dress, of course.
Yeah, that
A great black dress. uh, it just takes you everywhere. You know, and it does wonders. To me, black, I always have something black happening somewhere most times. So,
My whole wardrobe is black.
yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's a very transforming color. You know, you can just appear slim, you're just like looking wonderful all of a sudden, your skin is glowing even if you're looking like tired. So that's one thing. And the third most important thing is, I think, in her closet, if we were to put in the shoes, a great pair of shoes.
I think I knew that was coming.
Yeah, a
It's like
great
he's
pair of shoes.
Are you reading my mind?
Nothing can do to you what shoes can do, I believe, to a girl especially.
You know, I actually agree, because every time you dress up, everyone actually gives the last thought to shoes. Actually, the first thought should be the shoes, because every time you walk into any given place, whether it's you're going to college or whether you're going anywhere, even like going to watch a movie, the first thing I notice is shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the other thing, Candice, is it's not just how pretty it looks or whatever, it's how comfortable it is.
Comfortable, exactly.
And how does it make you feel? Does it give you that TikTok feeling? You know, when you walk and it goes TikTok, for me, that's a shoe.
Well, actually, yeah. Don't you all agree with it? Because everyone needs like a good pair of shoes at the end of it, no matter how you dress up. It's comfort that matters. And sometimes we go wrong because, you know, we are into fashion when designers and all give us clothes and they sometimes design shoes. They are the most painful thing. Trust me, I've actually gone last season. I was actually crying on stage in the first time of my 18 years of walking because the shoes were just uncomfortable. And no matter what, you have to wear them and feel beautiful and look sexy on ramp. But deep down, you're just crying. It's the most painful thing. If the shoes are not comfortable.
Seriously, and but you know, I must, with all honesty, give complete more than full marks to all the models ever for sometimes having to walk in the most uncomfortable shoes. Thanks to us designers. We are pretty nasty. We like Pano, Abhi.
And we actually wear them, to be honest, no matter what,
Yeah.
because we have to make sure that the look looks like the way the designers like
Exactly.
visualized it.
And they can be pretty cruel, the shoes, sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you have big feet, trust
Oh
me.
yeah, oh yeah.
I have really big feet. I can walk on water. So tell me, season after season, trends change, fashion changes. How do you keep your design aesthetic fresh?
Well, it's a process that is a continuous one. It's like if you keep evolving as a human being, you know, your design will also evolve along with you. You have to remain aligned, you know.
But do you follow the trends or like, you know?
Yes,
like
of course. Yes, of course. Trends are living all around you. I mean, you better be dead if you are cannot be aware of what's happening around you.
But then suppose, say for instance, now you're traveling.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm going to follow a trend and say, okay, if Promo still has said it's purple this season, then it should be purple this season. Not that kind of a thing for sure. You know, but the overall aesthetic, as you said, you know, how it kind of keeps evolving is you're aiming for higher and you're aiming for better. And I have noticed this very often, very often. And designers sometimes get spanked badly for having copied. Okay. But it's not really always that. I'm not saying that's not there. There is a lot of copying that happens in our little world, as we all know. And now they've got some very nice Insta sites where you can immediately, it pops out who's copied whom and, you know, whatever.
But I think that's a brilliant thing because now people are so aware of what's happening, so they'll think twice before actually aping or copying something.
You know, now, Candice, there are no dark corners. There's nowhere people can hide any longer. And now, once facial recognition comes in, they will know everything about you, which is good.
So people will think twice.
Yeah.
But don't you think so? You know what happens is not everyone can afford really expensive designer wear. So that's the reason why there are certain markets and certain corners which actually copy these expensive silhouettes and redesign it for people who can't afford it. So there are people who are buying it. So how do you kind of curb that?
See, there has to be a certain monetization of the market. That brings us to actually what our subject is about today, which we are going to be talking about is what is fashion? I mean, is it an art form or is it a business? What are we looking at it as? Because I think there is a lot of confusion that happens with most designers once they get into the profession, what is this about? I mean, are we running a business? You have to be aware what you're running. Or are you an artist? So,
mix of both.
it does happen. I mean, why? There's anything can happen. And it does happen that there is a mix of both. But where is your heart really? Is your heart in the money or is your heart in design? Because very often in design, for the money you compromise.
Absolutely. I've seen that around me.
Yes. That is the commercialization of fashion that happens, which is very sad. Which is why I believe design and business have to be managed separately. Even in an enterprise, a designer, more often than not, I wouldn't say always, cannot be the business manager as well. He should not be looking into finance. My head doesn't work with numbers. Just doesn't work with numbers. I don't like all those calculations. I hate filling up forms. I hate all those kind of things. You leave me to my work and I'll do a great job. So like even for ourselves now, we've kind of have a very structured organization where we have, we have the admin department and we have the accounts department. So which we have seen with certain labels happening in the country. The corporatization of fashion, which is where really we should all be moving towards in a sustainable way, in a way that is more all-encompassing. You know, taking in more people, the weavers, the craftsmen. It's not just about us designers. It's about the entire creative community, which is why I'm so impressed with this event, which the FDCR has put together, because what they have really done is bringing together all the creative communities in a certain weave so that it becomes beneficial for all. It becomes supportive for those who want to come into this industry, whereby they can actually showcase their work in the manner that it's meant to. So, I must thank Ajit ji for doing a great job, and of course for having me here as well to speak, and I'm delighted.
What do you think is really important? Is it the designer's commercial aspect or his creative force?
See, without a creative force, what are you going to commercialize? Right? So of course it's the creative force that is the most important, that is the fulcrum that makes this whole thing work. What is the whole thing? What is the whole thing? Is it a business?
I feel they go hand in hand, because somewhere you just need both, because without each other you can't really...
You know, I have always lived with this dichotomy in my head. I'm trying to figure out whether it is a form of art, and it should be kept that way, but it should not really affect the art form. Where, an artist doesn't need to compromise with his colors on a canvas.
Absolutely.
Why does a designer have to compromise on fabric and the usage of fabric and to figure out कि इससे ऊपर नहीं जाना चाहिए, cost? You're creating art. You can't be thinking cost. So that's where the business manager comes in and he tells you, hello, I think we are going a little overboard over here. You have to rein in. So that becomes a little of a dichotomy over there. But nonetheless, if it has to be run as a business, then for sure the two should be kept like, after living for a long time together. Sometimes couples also do have 2 bedrooms. They prefer to sleep separately. So business and art need to sleep separately.
But I thought that was because either one of the partner keeps snoring in the middle of the night.
Probably.
Okay, so tell me, Salim, you have designed so many celebrities in this last 25 years, being in the fashion industry. Which is that one celebrity that you love dressing up and you have dressed up and you would love to dress him or her again, and why?
Without doubt, I can say it's Ash.
She's like been the hot favorite.
Always. So I met Ash because I was doing a shoot for one of my earlier collections, and Farouk was shooting. So Farouk calls me and tells me, I've got this new girl. So you want to see her pictures? She's really good. So I said, okay, send me the pictures. So, I take a look at the pictures and all. She was like, okay, nice. It was not like,
Wow.
I was not blown over by any of the pictures. So then, we started the shoot. It was an early morning shoot, kuch 6, 6:30 baje ka. And she was there on the dot. And on the dot, very polite, very nice, very well spoken. Remember, in those days, not everyone was well spoken. Not even the very big stars were well spoken. So she had some zits on her face at that point of time. And we were like, let's conceal them and all, whatever. And once she was in full makeup and she was in front of the camera, she was just a different human being. And those pictures were sensational. So that's where I started with Ash. Taking it to some years down the line, some years must have been because she was not Miss India by then. This was prior to Miss India days.
She was modeling, I think.
She was modeling.
Yeah.
And we were doing this Kingfisher Derby in Bangalore on the Turf Club. And at the last minute, the police commissioner in those days there said, the girls are going to get raped if you have the fashion show over here.
Wow.
So we were like, girls are going to get raped? Why? Like what? But whatever could have been the reason that that was not very apparent, they didn't want the show to be had on the Turf Club. So, and it was an evening show, we were doing the technicals and the rehearsals in the afternoon. So, I mean, the next thing is hair and makeup, and then, you start with the show. Now, the organizers did not want to cancel the show. Probably there was some tussle going on over there. And it was Kingfisher, the Kingfisher Derby. So it was moved to a 5-star venue. Like this, the ramp and everything was set up. It got delayed a little, the show, but not to the extent where people left. People never left in those days. People never left in those days for fashion shows. There used to be crowds outside wanting to get in. You remember, right? Yeah. So the only girl who didn't miss a cue, because now the ramp had changed, no? She didn't miss a cue, Candice. She did it so well. And I was thoroughly impressed. And that is the kind of professionalism and correctness which has taken her where she is today.
I agree with you. She's quite professional.
She's very professional. So she is one person I'd love to dress always.
That
it's
is
a pleasure.
great. So does anyone want to ask Mr. Salim any questions? Come on. I like the way you're smirking out there. It's like you want to ask, you're just waiting for someone else to start.
Are you scared of me?
I know.
A lot of people get scared of me. Thank you, Ranjit. Good question. So, where I am right now, I have 4 labels. So I have a Salim Asgarally couture line, and then there is a Salim Asgarally pret-a-porter, and the Salim Asgarally lifestyle. These were all started in 1998, most of them, where there was no segregation of pret-a-porter and couture and everything else. So I was one of the first people who did it, because I felt it was important. And we have another line, which is called Essay by Salim Asgarally, for the simple reason that I started my career in the 1990s, early.
Wow.
So I have clients who are well into their 80s.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but they still want good clothes. So it's hard for them to wear what I might be showing on the ramp today. So we had to segregate the line, because we didn't want to lose our loyal faithfuls.
They will always be back for good stuff.
Yes, and we didn't want to miss out on the young, fresh ones either. So we had a new line, which is very young, which is online. And it's online because that's the way young people shop.
Yeah, we all do, don't
Yeah,
we?
so there's no reason why designer wear shouldn't be available elsewhere as
That's
well.
great. The next question, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come to you.
Hi, Shweta.
I've been designing cashmere stores for the last 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
1 year back, I got into apparel.
Okay.
And I have never studied fashion, just out of an interest that I've gotten into this industry.
Yeah.
And because I've entered it through this medium, right now I don't know which style of fashion I want to excel in, which path I want to pursue. Especially when I'm doing my exhibitions, when I'm making my collections, I myself realize there's a lot of different things happening. Something is very fine craftsmanship, where something is just a simple print with a date that I'm doing. And often the customers tell me that there's a lot of confusion as to what is your style. So is it okay to give myself another year or two to actually get down to what my style is? Because in order to ape what someone is doing or what the trend is, I don't want to be lost in my creativity.
Shweta, right? Yeah. It's a very good question, Shweta. What I would really like to probably say is, I was just telling someone outside, to me, for instance, I really think I'm on a holiday on this planet. Okay. You come, you go, have fun, enjoy yourself. Okay, so why are you so serious? Why are you so worried about what should you take? Okay, let it flow from within. Let yourself veer towards what really fascinates you. Don't get held back because wo nahi chalega, wo nahi bikega. No. You have to do what your heart tells you to do. Believe me, if you do what your heart tells you to do, there's no way it will not sell. But if you only do what your business manager tells you to do, no, you'll be in trouble. Yeah, so that is my answer to your question. Go with your heart towards what genre of fashion you want to pursue or what genre of apparel you want to take on. It is not about the money. That is what I am trying to say over here. For an artist, it's not about the money. For an artist, it's about what that artist wants to create. And as a designer, because I think I'm addressing mostly people who are interested in design. And what is really, really important for that artist is that he gives expression. Some people give it on canvas. Some people sculpt. Other people do many other kind of creative things. And a designer works with fabric. You are an artist. Treat yourself as an artist. Give yourself the luxury of an artist. An artist's mind does not think about money. It's not important. Believe me, when you come into that state of being, money will flow to you. Money will come running behind you. You won't need to chase it at all. Because you're going to then create something completely different. With all due respect to Neeta Lulla, and she's a great designer, why would you want to be another Neeta Lulla, for instance?
Exactly.
Isn't there one Neeta Lulla already? So that's what I always tell my students. So I do a lot of mentoring, with schools and stuff. So that's what I always tell my students, that be yourself. I think that is something that's very important.
Absolutely, because obviously I would not want to have another Candice Pinto. I'd rather just be one.
Yes. I can't even bear another of my own self.
So the last question would be you, miss?
Hi.
I want to ask that you're a designer and you style a lot of people.
Yes.
When you talk about the first appeal or the striking appeal about a person in terms of a portfolio, what would you be the imperatives that should be a part of your portfolio?
Right. Your name again? Ishika. So what do you do, Ishika? Okay. Great. So are you thinking about fashion design as a career? Maybe. Okay. For which you also need a portfolio. So, certain things that I look for, when I look at a portfolio. One is sketching ability. To me, sketching ability is very important. If you can't put down your thoughts on paper correctly and visualize it, it becomes a little hard. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it becomes a little hard. Therefore, I give a lot of priority to that part of it, to the ability to sketch. So I like good sketches, for sure. But behind that, you're also looking at the thought. Sometimes in a portfolio, you see random, because we work a lot with the students in schools, in fashion schools, and then I have assistants of mine also who we have to recruit from time to time. And they sometimes don't know whether this is spring, summer, autumn, winter themselves. It's velvet that they're showing in summer. Why? They have no answer only. We liked it. Okay, fine. What can I say? So that is another thing. That you need to know what you are creating and why. There needs to be a certain purpose. That's why most collections have a theme. It's based on mood boards. It's based on a particular strain of thoughts, right? So your mood of your garments as a collection should come through by looking at it. You just go, wow. So keep that in mind. These, I think, are a few of the things.
Thank you.
Yeah, you go. Your name? Manu. Hi, Manu.
So, sir, just one question, like not question, but just what she said and just you mentioned, just adding on this. Do you think that, the research part is very less nowadays? Because I see a lot of new people coming out of my own college, like from where I passed out. And when I see them, they want to look more like a model wearing a Gucci or a Prada themselves rather than actually getting into the process and knowing that, how the things are being made. Or, doing fashion in a very superficial manner. So knowing like, okay, we just have to make a mood board and create sketches and get the garments done. But, the whole conceptualization and the implication of what we say for fashion is just missing nowadays.
Manu, you couldn't be more correct. You really couldn't be more correct. Is it the same? So can I answer hers? Yeah, thank you. So sometimes I lose my thought. Sometimes. So anyway, in your case, what you were saying is, when we get assistants, sometimes we have to recruit assistants and stuff like that. And which I mentioned earlier as well. For the interview, they come dressed like Devil Wears Prada. I'm like, hello, where do you think you're going? You've come for an interview, right? Yeah, we are a fashion house. We do like people who are smartly dressed. But why these longer than sky lashes just now and everything? So, point to say is, there seems to be, because when you're coming for an interview, I am looking at people who can work. When I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm not, if you generally will be well dressed if you're a fashion person, but you will not overdo it as you were saying. That's what they think, that now we just know how to dress very well. But that is what you see everywhere. You see these little garage designers everywhere popping up. No offense to any of them. I'm not saying that it's a no-no. But then what happens is you dilute the purpose of fashion. When you are really commercializing it. So we see this commercialization of fashion and the aping of fashion. Some very well-known and very good designers get knocked off like this in minutes. It's like, yeah, they're barely off the ramp on Fashion Week, and next day they are in certain stores.
Absolutely.
At like 1/4 the price. So that is not, as you were saying, Candice, earlier, that some people cannot buy expensive things.
Yes.
So, but then isn't this wrong for somebody who has, there needs to be some kind of a copyright, and I do hope some, you know, the FDCR and the ministries do decide that some kind of a copyright at some time should come around. Otherwise, what are we doing?
But that's why I feel it's not fair enough, because a designer has put in so much an effort designing a particular piece, and then within 5 minutes, you see everyone's made different variety of copies. It's like that designer's hard work just goes off the rack.
Absolutely. I know people who say, Sabyasachi wali wo kapda dikhao, ya Sabyasachi wala wo lehenga dikhao. I'm like, hello? It's so unfair. You know, they should pay Sabyasachi for it, for saying that. Because he's worked very hard for it. And all of us work very hard for it. So none of us like to be, you know, aped and let fashion get so commercialized that it's not even, I mean, what if there were 1,000 Picassos that happened in a minute? What? At the end of the day, there'll be no Picasso.
I know.
There'll be no fashion.
It loses essence otherwise.
Completely.
So our last question.
Yeah.
That's our last question now.
That if that is your thought, I'm sure you have reason for that thought. Now, what is your concept of an artist? I can tell you my concept of an artist. My concept of an artist is that who constantly feels the intense desire to create. Otherwise, if you look at the wiki meaning of designer, it could be that one who makes something, creates a design. But an artist is one who breathes design. You understand? Therefore, when you say fashion designer, I'm not talking of any other designer. When I'm talking of fashion designer, to me, a fashion designer is an artist. You understand? He's just not designing because it's his job. He can't do anything else. He's paralyzed. I'm paralyzed. If you ask me to do anything else, I will not be able to do it. If you ask me tomorrow, open up a car and put it together, my brother can do it very well. He can't even lift a pencil and draw 2 strokes. And I can't do the opposite. So that's the way people are. So that's what I was saying to somebody else's question just a little while earlier, is you just have to be yourself and figure out who you are. Not everyone. Let's not fool ourselves here that हम सब fashion designer बन सकते हैं. सब कोई शाहरुख खान भी नहीं बन सकता है. You can't, there's one Shah Rukh Khan, as I said earlier. You can't have a second one. So be something else. So if fashion is your life, then become a fashion designer. If it's not, you're treating it just as a business, then tum ho gaye dukandar. Put simply, you're a dukandar. And I really have not very good feelings about dukandars who say they are fashion designers, to put it in perspective.
I think they just like labeling themselves.
Yeah, there's branding. There is branding, but you don't have to say you're a fashion designer to brand yourself, excuse me. That's like I say to brand myself, you know, I'm like a little, maybe a cobbler who does great work, but then I want to suddenly brand myself and say I'm something else. So I think you have to remain true to what you are. There are various ways of positioning your product. You know, there's product positioning. Everybody doesn't need to position. Today the market has become khichdi, as they call it. सब कुछ एक जैसा ही दिखता है. There's homogenization of everything. You could buy the same lehenga for 5 lakhs and you can find it for 50 also. Isn't it, Candice?
Yes, I totally agree with
Yeah.
you.
So what happened? What has happened? So what's going to happen in the future is fashion is going to move on completely only on 2 ends. If you are stuck in the middle of it, it'll go or either on the higher end, luxury, uber luxury, and then very mass market. If you are somewhere floating in the middle, you're going to be finished.
You have to be balanced either ways.
No, you have to move to one of the two ends. You have to choose. There's no in-between. Now the in-between days are over.
It's like staying safe.
Yeah,
Floating.
yeah.
So.
Anyone else? Yeah. They are scared. They're just scared. One of the reasons could be, see, you have to understand which is a bigger market, and will always be a bigger market. Just because men may be larger in number or even equal, doesn't mean that men will shop more. Women always overshop. They will go into a shop to buy one thing, they'll come out with 10. It's how you seduce them to buy.
I think men are more bigger shopaholics than women.
You think so?
110%.
Really? Yeah, they are indulgent, I would say. They are indulgent. But it could also be looked at the other way, that yes, it is a big emerging market, Ranjit. It's a big emerging market because, which men are we talking about? We are talking about the urban man only. Have you seen, I was doing a film with Kalpana Lajmi, which was being shot in Bhopal in some village. So when I got the script and everything and I read it and all, and Kalpana is a great friend, so there's a lot of soul searching that we do. In the process, of course, Kalpana is no more now. May she rest in peace. But, you know, you figure village means cotton saris, those block prints. When we went for a recce, there were no cotton prints and block, cotton sari. They're all polyester, nylon type or whatever they wear with those prints. Fashion had moved in a way that it had taken away the ethnicity. That is the other culprit. Why are we becoming homogenized as a whole world? Everyone is wearing the same things. I'm also to blame, even I'm wearing jeans. You know, it's like you're just looking at a population that aims at nothing else. Where are the special touches gone? So again, the FDCR, when it brings together all these people, the craftsmen, the weavers, the designers, the stylists, they will be able to at least preserve ethnicity, you know, because everyone is going to have a voice. When you don't have a voice, then you're destroyed. So we should not allow the process of destruction to happen. We should not allow our ethnicities to completely disappear. And I'm glad, even at Fashion Weeks, when you see young designers today on the ramp and the collections that they present, they're very interesting collections. They're not just Western or just very Indian shalwar. Yes, then you see those also, no? Why lehengas? I want to know why lehengas for the last 50 years. You know, can't you think of anything else as a designer? Without taking any names of anybody, garment after garment are lehengas. So whatever happened to everything else? This is the commercialization of fashion. In the name of fashion, you are chalawing what you want to chalaw. So there are the influencers, Ranjit. There are influencers, right? As we all know today in the digital world. And the influencers, it's like paid media. It's become paid media. So somewhere it's going to take its toll, but I don't think it's a juggernaut that has already set itself in motion. So it's not suddenly going to roll back. We'll just have to learn to live with it.
I think we all are living with it now.
Yeah.
I know. So we come to an end of this beautiful session with you, Mr. Salim. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
It was a delight too.
And thank you everyone for listening. And thank you so much, Mr. Salim.
Thanks, Candice, and thank you, my lovely audience, for having my little brother.
So don't go anywhere. We have another beautiful guest with us, Sundra Benz, who's going to be joining us in another minute. And stay tuned for more.